back to Queen G's Recipes, and today I am very happy to bring you another fall recipe, which is a pumpkin cake. It does have pumpkin spice and all those wonderful fall season ingredients. So let's go over what we're going to be needing. Here I have 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. In here I have 1/2 cup of toasted walnuts. Now what I have done is I bought just some regular walnuts at the store and I toasted them in the oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 8 minutes. I let them cool off and I wrapped them up. Actually, I toasted them last night and today we're just ready to go. In here I have 1 full cup of mini chocolate chips. You can use regular chocolate chips, but this is what I had on hand today. In here we have 1 12-ounce can of pumpkin puree, not pumpkin pie filling. You need just the pumpkin puree because it has no additives. There we have 4 eggs. Here we have 1 1/4 cups of granulated sugar. We have 1 cup of vegetable oil. You can use any flavorless oil of your choice, that'll be fine. And in our bigger bowl there, we have 3 cups of all-purpose flour. We also have 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and in there I have also added 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, and I will link my pumpkin spice video in the description box. If you don't have any, you can make some at home. You're also going to be needing a large bundt pan. Now, if you don't have a bundt pan, you can make it in a large cake pan. That is fine too. Make sure that it is well greased with butter or that you spray it very well with some non-stick cooking spray. And you're going to need a bowl to mix your ingredients in. I am using today a handheld whisk. So an electrical whisk, so you can use a standing mixer, you can use a whisk and a spatula, whatever you have on hand is fine because it can be made without any machinery at all. So let's move on to the next step. Okay, so I have sifted my flour, baking soda, baking powder, salt. What I did was I didn't have a sifter handy at the moment, so I took my whisk and I just whisked my flour mixture for about 2 minutes, and that is just like sifting your flour. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our flour and the sifted flour that we have sifted and our pumpkin pie spice, and we're just going to give that a little mix together. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add in our toasted walnuts into our bowl of chocolate chips. And we're going to add about 3 tablespoons of our sifted flour mixture. And we're going to mix that all together because that will prevent our chocolate chips and walnuts from sinking to the bottom of the cake. And then once that is all mixed through and you have all of your chocolate chips and walnuts coated with flour, we'll just set that aside and move on to the next step. Now we'll take our eggs, our sugar, and our oil, and we're going to mix it all together with our handheld electric whisk or whatever whisk you are using. And we're going to whisk this together for about 2 minutes or so. After whisking for about 2 minutes, we're going to add in our vanilla extract, our 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and we're also going to add in our pumpkin puree. And we're going to give that another whisk for about another minute or so. We're going to place our flour into our wet mixture. We're just going to put it in 2 portions. So we'll put in our first half of the flour, and we're going to switch to a spatula and mix that in without over mixing. this point, you want to make sure that your oven is preheated at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And now we're going to add in the second portion of our flour. Now before adding in our chocolate chip and walnut mixture, we are going to switch from our spatula just to a regular whisk, and we're going to give our mixture a little whisk to make sure we don't have any flour clumps in there, just to make sure it's nice and smooth. It looks really good right now, but I like doing this with this recipe just to make sure there's no flour clumps in our mixture. Just a little whisk, not too much. You don't want to toughen up your batter. Just to make sure, just for about 15 seconds. And then we're ready to stir in our chocolate chip mixture. We'll add in our chocolate chips, walnuts, and the flour that we coated them in all at once there. And we're gonna mix that in thoroughly. Make sure that all the pumpkin mixture has chocolate chips and walnuts throughout. Now that our mixture is ready to place in our pan, our completely and well greased pan, you need to make sure, if you're using a pan like this one, my inside of the pan is removable, so it is easier for me and easier to remove the cake. It's almost like the Angel food cake pans. Now what I like to do with pans like this is I like to place it on a sheet, a baking sheet, and I place some parchment paper just to make sure that if we get any leakages or anything going through the bottom, it won't dirty our oven and it won't create a huge mess. So now we're going to take our mixture and we're going to place it into our pan. Okay, so our cake is ready to be placed in our preheated oven. So now we're going to place it into our oven, and I will let you know what it looks like when it comes out and how long mine was in the oven for. And then before our cake is completely done, or even when our cake has been removed from the oven, we will be making a chocolate ganache to pour on top of our pumpkin cake. Okay guys, so my cake was in the oven for exactly 1 hour and 10 minutes. Now what I did was I baked my cake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 50 minutes, 50, and I lowered the temperature to 325 degrees Fahrenheit and baked it for another 20 minutes. Now just to be certain, you can insert a toothpick, make sure it comes out clean. Once it's clean, it's ready to be removed from the oven. Now what we're going to do is we're going to let the cake cool off and we're going to work on our ganache. What I have here is 2 cups of heavy whipping cream and 2 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips. You can use dark chocolate, which would probably be better, or you can use semi-sweet, bittersweet, whatever you like will work with this recipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my cream into my chocolate chips, and then we're going to put it in the microwave at 30-second intervals, and we're going to keep stirring until the chocolate is completely melted. So I'm going to place it into the microwave now, and then I'll let you know how long it took to make my ganache. Okay guys, so my cake has been cooling for 15 minutes, and now I'm just going to run a butter knife around the edges and around the middle near the hole of the cake pan, and I'm going to remove it and plate it. I'm going to let it completely cool off, and then we're going to work on the ganache part once our cake has been cooled off, which is probably going to be about say 45 minutes or so. And now for the ganache, I just want to confirm with you guys. I told you it's 2 cups of chocolate chips and 2 cups of whipping cream, but it's 3 cups of chocolate chips and 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. Now, I did put it in the microwave, And I left it in at 30-second intervals, and after each 30-second interval, I took my small whisk and I just whisked the mixture until it came to the desired consistency that I needed, which you can see is nice, velvety, and thick. So for 1 minute and 30 seconds at 30-second intervals, stirring in between, and that was it. Now I'm going to place some plastic wrap over my ganache, making sure that the plastic wrap is touching the chocolate so we don't create a film around our ganache. And then we're going to put it into our refrigerator for at least about 1 hour to 2 hours until it's completely cooled and it has thickened up. And then we'll move on to garnishing it on our cake. Okay, so my cake is now on the serving platter, and as I said, I'm gonna let it cool off for at least 45 minutes, but our ganache is in the fridge anyway, and it's thickening and completely cooling off as well. So our cake, so it doesn't create a very hard crust, because right now it has the perfect crunch and the perfect moisture on the inside, I'm gonna cover it with a clean tea cloth and just leave it like this until we're ready to place our ganache. Okay guys, so my ganache was in the fridge for 45 minutes and my cake was cooling for 45 minutes, and now we're ready to drizzle the ganache over our cake. Put as much or as little as you like. You might have some leftovers, but that's totally fine. But you can now start drizzling because now we have our cake cooled off. Just gently with your spatula, slide it over a little so it can drip down the sides. Okay guys, so my cake has been resting for about half an hour, and now we are ready to cut a piece and try it. Okay guys, so here you have it, our complete pumpkin cake with our chocolate ganache. And very simple to make, very easy, very few ingredients. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already so you can see my future videos. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can be the first one to view my videos when they're uploaded. And take care. Thanks for watching. See you on my next video. Bye.